Welcome back to Hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin, where truth still matters and America still comes first. Today's episode asks a question that too many in Washington seem afraid to answer. Is our safety net failing its own citizens while politics plays chicken? This isn't about left or right, it's about whether our constitutional republic is still capable of taking care of its own people. A mother in Pennsylvania wakes up every morning to check her phone for an update from her state's food assistance office. In previous months, she received her benefits right on time. But now she receives a warning. There may be no food money at all. Her cart is half empty. Her kids are hungry. And the same federal government that took her taxes when she worked is now telling her there's nothing left to give back. That's not politics. That's personal. Remember, we fight for what's right because it's time to go right. The United States government is in one of the longest shutdowns in our history. Agencies are frozen, workers are furloughed, and more than 40 million Americans, legal citizens, face the real possibility that their food benefits will vanish overnight, or at least temporarily, and the fact that this is in November, the November months, the winter months. Folks, back in the old days, when people were able to take care of themselves, and they had to, basically, to get through the years, back in the old prairie days, you spent your warm months, your summer months, preparing. Just like squirrels go out and gather nuts, you prepare for the winter. Now that we have more population, more supply chain, more dependence on the government, and more dependence on the whole picture of it all, we don't really prepare for winter. We know we can go to the grocery store, we know we go make money, we know we pay for food. So that makes it even more damaging that this is coming during the winter months. But folks, this isn't about blaming Donald Trump. This isn't about blaming Biden. It's about a Congress that's completely lost touch with the people it serves. Instead of governing, they're grandstanding. Instead of budgets, they're trading insults. And while both parties argue about who's to blame, real people are going without dinner tonight. Let's get something straight. The government doesn't just stop feeding people because of one man. It stops because Congress refused to pass a funding bill. It stops because leadership has become a show instead of a service. The USDA says it can't legally release food stamp funding without appropriations. They have billions sitting in contingency funds, but those funds are being withheld, reserved for emergencies. Now tell me, if 40 million Americans going hungry isn't an emergency, what is? We've got politicians who can find endless cash for foreign aid, for war, for dare say it, gender programs abroad, but they can't feed American citizens here at home. That's not leadership. That's betrayal. And here's where it gets worse. Democrats are already using the shutdown as a political weapon for local elections. Municipal races, school boards, city councils, they're screaming, quote, Republican shutdown. Well, Republicans like to shout out Schumer shutdown, but while quietly ignoring that their own policies helped overload the welfare system. They ban free health care and benefits for non-citizens while legal American families are being told to wait. That's not compassion, that's manipulation. Meanwhile, some Republicans are cheering on the shutdown like it's a victory for physical responsibility. They post online saying, good, end welfare. But here's the truth, and they don't want to admit it. Welfare isn't a left or right issue. It's a moral one. If we live in the richest country on earth and still can't make sure that every legal citizen has food, clothing, shelter, and medicine, something is deeply wrong. I'm not calling for socialism. I'm not calling for communism. But I am calling for responsibility. We can't let pride blind us to suffering. We can't let politics erase compassion. And because a nation that can't feed its own people cannot claim to lead... Honestly, folks, a nation that can't feed its own people, it cannot claim to lead the free world. You can't tell yourself America first if Americans are the last to be helped. Now let me be blunt. We're living in a nation where the most powerful government in history can't keep its lights on, can't feed its citizens, and can't stop arguing long enough to do its job. Democrats claim Republicans want to starve the poor, but it's the left that pushed endless spending, open borders, and benefits for those who broke our laws to get here. Republicans say cutting aid teaches discipline. But starving children doesn't teach responsibility, it just reveals indifference. Both sides are playing chicken with real lives. And every time they crash, it's the American citizens who get crushed. This is what I call the starving of the Republic. It's not just food aid that's being cut off, it's hope. It's accountability. When government fails to feed its own citizens but sends billions overseas, that's not strength, that's hypocrisy. We need a new approach. One that puts citizens first. One that balances compassion with responsibility. And one that remembers the role of a government is not to divide us by party, but to serve us equally under the Constitution. We can fund wars, but we can't feed families. We can bail out corporations, but we can't help veterans eat. We can send rockets to Mars, but we can't send hope home. Enough. Enough, folks. A constitutional republic survives only when its leaders remember who they serve. And that's we the people. And those people are hungry, not just for food, but for truth, for leadership, and for dignity. This isn't capitalism. This isn't socialism. This isn't Marxism. This isn't a call for any of that. This is survival. This is justice. This is what America was built on. The idea that no citizen should be left behind. So here's the challenge to every voter, every activist, every patriot listening right now. Stop letting the left weaponize fear. Stop letting the right confuse cruelty with courage. And start demanding leadership that serves people, not politics or donors or whoever else is in their pocket. Because until Washington remembers its duty to feed its citizens, the Republic is starving. And the only cure is accountability. You can find out more about this on GoRightNews.com, where there's an article that goes over further more details about this. I'm Peter Boykin, and this has been #GoRight with Peter Boykin. And if you believe America must protect its own before playing politics, you can join us at GoRightNews.com. You can follow #GoRight with Peter Boykin on Rumble, Spreaker, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, YouTube, Gab, Truth Social, TikTok, Facebook, and X, and many more places. You can support our mission at Cash App at the $GoRightNews. Stay informed, stay strong, and always go right.